In a school cafeteria, all the students are chowing down during their lunch break, but out of nowhere, a girl suffers from something. Her eyes start glowing and she starts shaking like crazy until she falls right to the floor and dies. We then know that she is the first one to die in the school because a month and a half later, her entire class died. After a while, the news informs us that the name of the disease is IAN, and what is happening is something horrible for the parents who have children because almost 98% of the children in the cities die. Additionally, reports mention that there are strange accidents involving children, and a warning appears that if anyone finds their children behaving strangely, they should report it to the Centers for Disease Control. On the other hand, we see a beautiful girl named Ruby, while her family gives her a medal that she wants on her birthday. Shortly after, her mother is worried about her, but Ruby tells her, "Don't be worried, I'm fine." In the evening, Ruby can't sleep, so she goes to her parents' room and tells her mother in a low voice, "Don't worry, it's me." But as soon as Ruby holds her mother's hand, her eyes start glowing. She feels terrified and goes back to her room. In the morning, Ruby wakes up and talks with her mother, but she doesn't remember Ruby and asks her, "Who are you?" Ruby tells her that she is her daughter and that she gave her a gift yesterday. But her mother locks Ruby in the garage and Ruby keeps screaming and tells her mother that she didn't do anything wrong, asking, "Why are you locking me up?" Ruby keeps crying until a group from the Epidemic Control Center arrives and takes her away. By the way, the government isn't worried about the children who died, but is afraid of those who are still alive. They transfer the surviving children like Ruby to an army camp, and as soon as they arrive, they put the children next to each other. Shortly after, one of the children tries to escape but fails, and they hit him. Then, the boy manages to control the officer who hit him and makes her kill herself. But they grab him quickly and beat him, and they take the rest of the kids away, including Ruby. She goes for a medical examination, and the doctor tells her that all the boys' eyes turn a specific color according to their abilities. He tells her that the first color is green, and they are the smartest. After that, the blue one has the ability to control things remotely, and the golden one can control electricity. But there are the most dangerous colors, which are red and orange, and there aren't many of them. On the screen, the result appears that Ruby is orange, and they must get rid of her immediately. Meanwhile, Ruby feels that the doctor wants to kill her, so she tries to run away. But the doctor notices and catches her. Ruby then holds his hand and manages to control his mind. She orders him not to say that she is orange, and the doctor changes her result and makes her green. In the camp, they divide the children according to their capabilities and their colors. Green. Of course, there are no red or orange because they kill them. After 6 years, Ruby is in the camp, and the sliders make a noise test for her and the rest of her colleagues. But Ruby can't stand it anymore. She falls on the ground and they take her to the hospital. In the hospital, Ruby meets Dr. Kate, and she tells Ruby that she is the only one who passed out during the test and asks her about the reason. Suddenly, one of the guards enters and tells the doctor, "Your time's up." But Kate writes something quickly on the paper and tells him they must keep Ruby to complete the tests on her. When Ruby sees the paper, she finds that the doctor warns her that they know she is orange and they will get rid of her soon, and leaves her a key. Then, Ruby manages to run away and meets Kate, and they escape through the back door of the hospital. At the gate, the guard wants to get Ruby out of the car to know who she is, but Ruby manages to control his mind. She orders him to go back to his chair and forget what happened, and this is what really happens. In the morning, Ruby wakes up and finds herself finally outside the camp. After that, she asks Dr. Kate, "Where are the people?" Kate replies that most people went to work in big cities after what happened. Then, she gives Ruby a chain and tells her that this is a tracking device. If she finds herself in danger, she has to press it, and she will come quickly to her location. Shortly after, Kate stops the car and goes to meet her friend Rob. He then gives her a bag with new clothes so that she can change her clothes. Meanwhile, Ruby is about to fall, but Rob catches her, and when he touches her, Ruby controls his mind and sees that he was running after children and treating them like a monster. She thinks that he isn't a good man. In the gas station, Ruby meets a golden girl named Zoo, but Zoo sets the gas station on fire and runs away. Ruby runs after her. When Ruby reaches Zoo, she asks her to get in the car because she has nowhere to go and no one to trust. Zoo opens the car for her and hides Ruby in it. After that, Zoo's friends arrive and they get in the car. The first one is a green named Chubbs, and the second is a blue named Liam. Shortly after, they see Rob and Kate searching for Ruby, but Liam drives the car quickly and they escape. On the way, the boys ask Zoo who they are and who Ruby is. Ruby appears and tells them that she is Ruby. Liam stops the car and they tell Zoo that they don't want any stranger. But Liam asks Ruby if she ran away from the camp, and Ruby tells him yes, and that she is green and won't be dangerous for anyone. Then, Liam tells her to stay with them and they will all run away together. A woman named Jane appears and starts shooting fire at them. Liam asks Ruby to drive instead of him, and he and Chubbs try to create a storm. They manage to do it, and Jane's car falls into the river. They then drop a tree in front of Rob and Kate's car, stopping them from chasing the group. Ruby asks her new friends about Jane, and Chubbs says she is a killer agent whose job is to capture children like them for the government. Meanwhile, Liam invites Ruby to come with them to the East River, where there will be a huge gathering and the children will live together. The person in charge of the place is called the Slip Kid because he escaped 4 times from the army camp, and his color is orange like Ruby. They decide to stop and rest at a hotel along the road. While they are sleeping, Zoo's hand touches Ruby's hand by mistake, and Ruby gets into Zoo's dream, seeing how she and Liam escaped from the camp. Ruby sees that many children were killed during the escape. She wakes up terrified, but Zoo reassures her and tells her it was just a dream and not to be afraid. Shortly after, they go to get some food and clothes. They enter an abandoned mall and Zoo turns on the mall's electricity. Strange people appear and write on the ground, "Get out!" They make Ruby and Liam fly in the air, but Zoo controls the electricity and scares them. They find out that the strangers are just children like them. The strangers apologize and Liam tells them they are just taking some things and leaving. The stranger tells them they can take what they want and spend the night with them. At night, they all talk about the Slip Kid and the location of his camp, which contains many children. The strangers don't want to reveal the exact location until Ruby tries to make one of them talk, and he says one word, "Edo." After Chubbs searches for it, he finds a frequency on the radio, and they hear someone saying that the gathering place is at Princess Lake. They are very happy when they hear this. In the morning, Liam goes to Ruby's house because she asks him to see her family. They reach there and Ruby sees her mother, but she is afraid to enter because she knows that they won't recognize her. Ruby runs away crying, and Liam says it is better for her to forget the past and go to the children's camp with them. When they go back to the car, Jane surprises them again and hits Ruby. She controls Liam with a frequency weapon while Zoo and Chubbs are tied up. Ruby manages to control Jane's mind, and her friends are surprised because they thought she was green, not orange. Ruby orders Jane to drop the gun and go straight into the woods, and Jane complies. Shortly after, Ruby faints and falls to the ground. After a while, she wakes up in the car and apologizes to her friends for lying to them. Chubbs tells her he knows she is orange because she isn't as smart as him, and they continue their journey. When they find the sign of Edo, they feel happy. While walking, they meet a group of strangers who start shooting at them. Their leader orders Ruby and her friends to get down on the ground, but one of them, named Mike, recognizes Liam and orders everyone to stop shooting. He tells Liam, "Welcome home." They enter the camp and meet children from everywhere. They go to meet the Slip Kid, who turns out to be the president's elder son, Clancy. However, the president deceives the public, giving the impression that her son is receiving treatment for the illness, instilling hope in parents that one day their children in the army camps might receive treatment. In the morning, Ruby meets Clancy, who tells her what happened to him in the army camp. He says that they treated him like a lab rat, trying to find medicine that doesn't exist at all. He also tells her that his father didn't care about his screams.
I lost my family.
After a while, Clancy teaches her how to control her abilities and develop them for the better. Later, she sits with Chubbs, who doesn't like the camp. He tells her that they eat at certain times and are forced to work in this place, which feels like the army camp. After a while, it appears that Clancy is talking to someone on the internet. When Ruby enters his room, he hides the chat and then tries to assault her.
Stop, what are you doing?
She quickly walks away and meets Liam, who wants to know what is wrong. When she tells him what happened, he wants to kill Clancy, but she stops him and suggests running away from this place. They take Zoo and Chubbs with them, but find the army camp director there. Liam tries to fight him but fails, and they find out that Clancy is working with the army. While Clancy is beating Liam, the colonel grabs the weapon and sets fire to himself because Ruby managed to control his mind. Zoo starts electrifying the place, and then they run away quickly. However, the army planes arrive with children of a rare red color who emit fire from their bodies and burn the surrounding area. Shortly after, Ruby stands before Clancy and tells the rest to get out of there immediately. Ruby says she will control his mind, and they manage to kill many soldiers. Clancy knocks Ruby to the ground and asks her to let him enter her mind. Ruby controls a plane and crashes it on them, but she runs from the place quickly. Chubbs comes and takes Ruby with him, but due to the explosion, both of them fall and Chubbs is injured. She tells him to go to the hospital and presses on the chain that Kate gave her. After a while, Ruby wakes up and finds herself in a room. Kate tells her not to be afraid and informs her that Chubbs is in the hospital, but his condition is difficult and they arrested Liam. Ruby insists that they must let Liam go because he is not a criminal. Kate tells her that they can't let him go and need to focus on fighting the president and what he is doing in the camps. Ruby tells her she can fight with them, but asks Kate to let her talk to Liam first. Kate agrees and tells her that there are no problems. When Ruby sees Liam, she makes him forget their memories together and tells him to take care of Zoo and Chubbs. After that, we see Ruby alongside Kate as they train a group of children with unique abilities like hers to face the president's army. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, so you never miss our future explorations of timeless classics and hidden gems. Until then, happy watching, and I'll catch you in the comments.